You know, there's a couple of things that I actually believe every other man in the manosphere world should be doing. And when I say a man, I'm just referring to someone between the age of maybe 12 all the way down to 100 or 200 if you want. Because my thoughts now are this. As a man, there's a couple of things that you need to be doing on a consistent basis. And some of these things, they include you taking up the full responsibility of acquiring knowledge. Because if you don't acquire any knowledge and you're just stuck into what you think and thinking that whatever you think is what is the reality, then you're letting yourself uh, stay behind. That's the main purpose of why I'm making this video anyway today. And both men and women who listen to me, they know very much that I'm a very big champion of a man educating themselves and being on that journey of consistently seeking the knowledge, seeking the ideas that are out there in the society. Because when you read, you are not only listening to people who've lived before you, but you are also walking on a journey with people who have lived before you and being able to be in their mind. That's why it's so important for a man to spend your time at least an hour a day or 2 hours a day just reading and acquiring in that new information. And someone might tend to ask, Chris, I don't really know where to start from, or I don't know which book or what do I need to read to start this journey. And I'm going to tell you, you can start with whatever books that you have, but I don't recommend you to start reading novels. I'm not a very big fan of reading novels or any kind of these books that sell you the fantasy of the existing world. No, but rather, I am someone that will recommend you reading books that sharpens your rational thinking, that sharpens the way that you look at things, the books that challenge you to become a better version of yourself. Is it in finance that you want to read this book? Is it in philanthropy? Is it in politics? Is it in power, relationship dynamics, and all these things? All what have you. So I highly recommend you to go out there and get books and read. Because once you start reading, even the kind of conversation that you get to have, oh, they become very interesting conversations. Personally, for example, use me as an example. When I started reading, uh, my conversation skills improved tremendously. The kind of conversation that I was having with people that know me or with people in my surrounding, they completely changed. When someone comes to me with a topic, I'm able to not only to contribute, but to contribute something that is meaningful to the conversation. And which was the first book that, the very first book that I read must have been, I think, Things Fall Apart by the great Chinua Achebe. And I hated this book in 2013 when I was still in high school. But after high school, now, almost 10 years later after high school, because anyway, I was in high school in 2013, that's when I first started high school in Nairobi. After high school, I went back now to read the same Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. And it has never been the same. It has been a complete life changing book. Because now I get to look at things from a very different angle. And then from Things Fall Apart, I went into the 12 Rules for Life by Dr. Jordan Peterson. I went into the 48 Laws of Power, which has become like a lifetime reading book. always going back to those 48 laws of power. And just to give you a glimpse of what I've found in the 48 laws of power is number one is you concealing your intentions. And because mainly 80% of the people who are subscribed to this channel, they are men. So as a man, you have to be able to conceal your intention. And one might ask, how do I conceal my intentions? Being someone who is able to keep quiet about whatever thing that you are thinking, you're not telling the world what you're thinking, but rather you're just being what you are or being who you are, and then let the world think that they understand what you're up to. Even if they don't understand it, that's fine. So, men, I'm calling you out here today. Be a people that are always seeking this knowledge. It will never expire, but rather it's going to expand you and start looking at things from a whole different dynamics. And for women, yeah, I also have a message for women, by the way. For women, don't be with a guy who does not pursue knowledge. Does he read? Does he listen to podcasts? Does he seek that knowledge? Because anyway, if he's not seeking the knowledge, then it means he's still stuck in his own mind and he's not willing to expand. Yet, the human brain is like, is this massive sponge that is able to hold on more and more and more. And the more you give it, the more it's able to absorb it. But if you keep it dormant, then that would simply mean, okay, yeah, nobody cares about whatever thing that's happening here. And then, yeah, it's just like that. Water under the bridge. So, my man, I'm calling you out all today. Please be the people that go out there in the world, seek the knowledge. And if you don't know where to start with your Bible. There's a lot of things in the Bible. If you're Christian, if you're Muslim, read your Quran. If you're Christian, read the Bible. There's many stories there that can inspire you and that can make you become this greater version of yourself. If you're Muslim, read your Quran. And if you are atheist or a non-believer, by the way, this is not an advertisement or anything. Here's also another book that I will highly recommend. Please get a hardcover and just read this book. I think I first purchased this book in 2022. You can see it there in 2022. And yeah, it's also an amazing book that any young man out there can read. It's called The World Speaks by Jer Rage. And the back of the cover looks like this: shatter the feminine frame of authority in your mind and be free. So, if you don't know where to start, I would say this is a very life changing book that has really changed me a lot. I knew this book from the great Amerix. Amerix is the one that did put me onto this reader, and it has changed my life completely, especially with the dating games. Now, the dating games is another site that is filled with many things. Many things are happening into the dating world. But with this book, it expands on what you, as a young man listening to me today, can build up from. If not that one, here's the second one also. And by the way, none of them paid me to advertise their books. The Way of the Superior Man by David Dada. So here are the book. This is another book that I will highly recommend. Whether you're in a relationship, single, married or unmarried, here's another book, The Way of the Superior Man. Get time, sit down and read this book because it's a life-changing book. I've read it and I completely enjoyed this book. And the benefit of this reading, even with your women, and if you're a woman, because anyway, that would be a video for another day. But if you're a woman who's wondering, what gift should I give my boyfriend, my my husband, what gift should I give him? This one is a very good book, especially this one, because even me, despite being recommended this book by the great Americs, this book was given to me by a friend of mine. I'm not just willing to tell you her name, but yeah, a female friend of mine gave me this book, and it's been very much of a life-changing book. So that's what's up for today. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.